Okay guys, so this video is about reconnaissance, and I decided I want to create a video where I talk about a bit more in depth about how I would perform reconnaissance on a website if I, were not used to any, if I didn't use any fancy tools or anything. So I kind of just booted up, a room here on TryHack, just any room, it doesn't really matter which it is. So let's wait for the IP address. So if the IP, gonna open up the web page. It's not HTTPS. It's still not HTTPS. It's gonna take a while. There's a web server, isn't it? Okay, so it's running on another port. Let me just take that port. Doesn't really matter what I'm doing right now. So let's assume we're having a web page like this, and we meet it like with our hands, our eyes, our mind. We need to do some reconnaissance on it. So what I would basically do is to open up a piece of notepad like that, and I would start putting in things. Like the first thing I would put in is, of course, in this particular case, if it's running on a weird port, I would put that in, but let's just assume this is a normal domain name, so something.com or whatever. First thing I would do, not to irritate the web servers, just to casually browse the site, normally, generating what you would call human traffic. While doing that, you can see different names popping up, like Ivan, Jacobson. They all put in the same name here because this is a standard web page. They don't really mean to make this a hard one for you, but I would definitely take the names here, like Dennis and whatever they call all of them, and just write them down and and just start generating different kind of email addresses from it. So if it's like Ivan Jacobson, it could be IJ at and the email address to start generating email addresses if they're not giving you the email addresses directly on the website. That is one way for you to enumerate email addresses and names and stuff like that. So you see a post here called admin. I would definitely investigate that a bit more. You can always just try and click it and see if we can find different things. This is a very blank website. It's giving us the hashtag here, which basically means that it was an empty hyperlink. But always just click things, and you can see that down below here in the bottom left corner. You can see if I hover different kind of links here, you'll see it's just only the about page, which is the index page. The one we're on is actually pointing to something. The rest is just pointing towards the hashtag, which is no link. It would seem that the search, to just try that, writing the word test, pressing search, doesn't really do much. So we could try and delete there and write test one more time, and you can see that it doesn't really give us anything in the top here, so it's just another dead link. It seems like nothing is really working on this website, but it's very important that you just browse it and find the names and find whatever things you can find. Don't rely on any fancy nerd tricks like steganography or whatever. It's not what people do on the websites. Also take note on the info here on the email address. Take note of the word admin. It shouldn't be there. And take note by whoever made the template and research whether the guy created other websites that could contain security issues and vulnerabilities. After that, I would definitely go ahead and check robots.txt and just see if we can find it. Also try something like sitemap.xml. Sometimes you will find that the site has this kind of file because Google looks for it, and you can use it to enumerate hidden pages or whatever. Also go ahead and try stuff like install with double L or setup, or admin, different kind of different, things you can just write out before going and spamming the website using GoBuster and stuff like that, which is not a part of this video. I'll definitely try different kind of URLs. Next thing I would go ahead and look at is just press F12 in the browser, zoom in a bit so we can see the text, go to inspector, just refresh the page, check out how this page is created, and it's a lot of jumble JavaScript like that. If you see something like this, it basically means that you're not really gonna get much out of it. You can definitely see that they used, so now you see you got an email address of the writer of this JavaScript library, which is fine, but all of this is just jumble. You wouldn't really get anything out of it. It's just standard JavaScript, so I would definitely just not. And then just check out the source. Nothing crazy there. Go to the console. Sometimes it's gonna tell you something you could use. In this particular case, it's all pretty boring. The debugger doesn't really matter too much. The network tab could be interesting because it will tell you different kind of things that load. Always try and find the /1 here, because that is the original GET request, and you can go ahead and check the response headers and see whatever it sends back. Already here you can see you got some e-tag you can use. You got like some Apache Ubuntu, so right off the bat this is a Linux machine running Ubuntu. It's an Apache, so there's a really good chance this is a PHP application. So already now we got some really good information. You can also go ahead and check cookies, request, responses. Nothing crazy going on. Go ahead and check out the memory tab now. Sorry, the storage. And just open all of them. And just check out, whether we've got some cookies or cache or local storage, session storage going on, so we can further exploit that. If there's anything, take note of it. Now, the rest of the tabs I wouldn't really bother looking at, so I would definitely just shut it down now and say what to do now. So you probably already found out different kind of good informations. The thing about professional website running already is that you cannot really get the same kind of information from it as you can on a try hack me or hack the box machine, because they are created originally the way they should have been. So there's a lot of information for you to find. So really what you should do is maybe go find a small script you can run like GoBuster, but don't spam with like something big or common, which is also kind of big already. But we kind of promise not to do this. Now what you could do also is to channel all traffic through Burp Suite, but it kind of just would make you look at all the different kind of things going on, so we can just do that. Take Burp, boot it up, reload the page. We're in Burp now. Since you got the GET request, we got different kind of things. We have no cookies, same information. You can also go ahead and check out as you can see, everything's decoded if that is what you need. Nothing crazy going on here either. Just forward it and you can get. It's also using jQuery, as you can see, and you can forward that, and using some migrate stuff. Now if you see a JavaScript that you want to edit, you can just right click here and say do intercept response and request and click next until it pops up with all the JavaScript code, which can be at some point. So we're just gonna wait. I love JavaScript. There we have something here. It's the Google Maps API. So now that we got the JavaScript here for the file of the file popper, whatever, you can basically say that you don't want any of this JavaScript, you want something different. You could say that you want to add something, you want to change something, so you could basically just write your own new JavaScript, or you can say I don't like that function, so you basically delete it and then you just forward it, because then whenever the site is loaded, and you can just say it's off, it will be loaded with the JavaScript that you put it in. So if you got some client-side validation going on, and you cannot really disable JavaScript in your browser, you can remove some of the JavaScript functionality using Burp Suite, the Burp proxy, and then by that way keeping your functionality that you need to use the site. Let's assume that this is a website created by communicating with some sort of API on the back end. In most cases it is consumed by a JavaScript, and that JavaScript is vital for you. Else you're gonna figure out different kind of paths first, the get, post, put, and delete paths, and you're gonna use something like curl or Postman or whatever kind of software in order to communicate directly with the server. So I guess this kind of brings it to a stalled end. Depending on what you find now, you take further steps. If you found a web login page, definitely try default passwords. If you found out it's a CMS system running or something like that, then you should definitely try default passwords and stuff. Already you should be aware that as soon as you try logging in as a user or an admin, you shouldn't be alarmed by that. There's a really small chance that the company got some intrusion detection, intrusion prevention system for that, but sometimes they do something like that. If it's like an admin account you're trying to log into, and then they log it, and if you try it a few more times, you might get locked out by IP. But then you're just going to use another new IP to channel your traffic through a VPN, use something like proxy chains, use Thor, the browser, different kind of ways for you to change your IP address. Really easy, cheap, and doesn't really take a lot of time. So I really hope you learned something for this video, and you learned something about web enumeration. And there's a lot more to it than this. We haven't really talked about serialization of data. So depending on what you find also of data up in the URL, like get request and serialized objects, you can capture in between. It's all within the boundaries of whatever you find. So what I really want to teach you is that you should keep your mind open, and then just focus on find every piece of information you can and try and misuse it for something at some point. See you again online. Have a really nice day.